today. He's sitting in my lap like a beautiful, beautiful boy. Wanted to hang out for stream today. Yes, enjoy. Handsome boy. Handsome, handsome, handsome. Go for Tim. Tim. Here, here, over here. No? Okay, okay, where are you going? Oh, what are you doing? You can't just hit the microphone like that. You're so rude. Tim! What are you doing? No. Nice. Nice. Yeah, good. Get back in my lap. Perfect. There is the desk. Most beautifulest, perfect spot ever. That's my pop filter. Oh, why? No, Bubby. Why? He's rubbing his head up against it. And covering my camera. That's great. Hey, bud, what you doing? Who did fart? God Hunter, why? Wow, I'm surprised I did a battle royale when you spelled it wrong. That's kind of surprising, honestly. Tim Tim. Tim Tim. Oh, delicious. Oh, delicious. Oh, delicious. Oh, getting them pets. No, baby. No. You wanna settle down so we can do something? You wanna lay down any? Oh no, are you just gonna get down? Okay, you're getting in my lap. Okay. Okay, the microphone's gonna be directly above you. Please be nice to it. Okay, puppy. Oh. Okay, good job, Zillifer. That's right. Oh, what are you doing? Your ear itches. That's right. Don't let the bots win. But hello, good evening. How is everybody today? Are we good? Did we have a good Tuesday? What are you doing? 6, 7. How do you wanna sit, Peppa Boy? How do you wanna sit? Let me know. Maybe maybe not bathe yourself. That's not gonna go on for a while. You feel fat. You only had 2 meals? What? Why? Why do you feel fat? That's wrong. That's not good at all. IDK, what the heck? Oh, you gorged yourself? I did that the other day. I did that yesterday, actually, I think. I got a giant sized sub from Jersey Mike's, and those things are like 16 inches or something. They're so big, and I didn't need the whole thing because that was just too much food, but I ate it all anyways. And I just felt like I gorged myself, and that was not good. Not great. You had a good Wednesday. Okay, goodbye, Timaeus. You had a good Wednesday. You did some gardening? Oh, hell yeah. What did you plant? Or did you not plant anything? You were just like going through with some weeds and stuff. You ate less than you normally do and you feel twice as full. Fast food lunch. Yeah, because it could be a little bit greasier than what you're normally used to and stuff. And yeah, it could probably be like, blah. Trimmed up your bushes and cut them down. Sweet. So some maintenance gardening. Waiting for the champion's maintenance for another 2 hours. What do you need maintenance on? I hope it ends up happening and working out. IDK, you gifted a sub. Now I do have to say, your sub from yesterday is still very, it's not like very prominent, but it's still there for sure. So, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to do it on this side? My very noticeable veins. Jesus Christ. Look at these. Right over. Hi, Mop. Hello. Okay, but what about the symbol? I mean, we could draw over the symbol. That's fine. I want to make a guess that you're going to ask for a taco as your symbol. Okay, perfect. Yeah. I don't know. Hey, the cheese is already on here. This was cheese from last night. What color then, IDK? What color would you like? Will Groove be tonight? That's the question. Hi, Maddie. Thank you for the headphones. I don't know why they didn't go off. That's actually kind of annoying. Although I did have a chat with Zenon last night. And Zenon informed me that sometimes stream avatars, all of these fun little guys down here, sometimes they actually mess up the, mix it up. It looks like it just when it was delayed. Strange. Hello. IDK. Okay, dark blue. You weren't going to do a taco, but might as well. There are 2 dark blues. I need you to tell me which version specifically. If you will, please. What do you mean that didn't work, God Hunter? A taco? Hi, Noish. Thank you so much. Does the Discord link not work? Yeah, it does. Huh? Jonny? Okay. Yes, maybe. I saw someone at work today, and they were like, Sailor! And I said, hi! And they're like, oh my god, do you remember me? I didn't know who the hell they were, but it happens all the time because I moved back in town a few months ago, and so I'm seeing a bunch of people that I used to go to school with. So anyways, I mean, not trying to be rude, I was like, yes, especially since he seemed so enthusiastic to see me. I was like, yes, of course, hi! And he was like, wow, it's so good to see you. Oh, hi, Wolf. Hello. Wolf, hi. Thank you so much for the subscription. You're gonna have to choose a color for me, please. But he was like, "Wow, it's so good to see you. You kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth." I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't really use social media, and, which pink? 1, 2, it's a lot more pink than it looks. 3 or 4. Here, so you get an accurate representation. Ignore this, we're gonna go to gaming. All you want is the cam, okay? You want the cam up here. It's a lot more of like a peach pink. So you got 1, it's so hard to see. 1, 2, 3, which is kind of more purple. Or, I mean, that's more purple. So 1 or 2, I guess. Oh, the audio got louder. Oh no. You're so right. I have to be so quiet. I'm so sorry. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. We have to try and keep this ASMR. Shit. Sorry. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now I can talk a little bit. That's my bad. I completely forgot. I feel like you've watched it. Let me show you this video call. Hi, Roy. And then Wolf, what tab do you want? 10. Thank you so much. You get to choose a color now. Hold on. I feel like I'm never going to tell my story. Either way, this gentleman that I saw at work, he knew me, but I didn't remember him, and he said we were childhood best friends, but like, I don't know this man at all. And he was like, "Can I get your phone number? Can I get your Snapchat?" I said, I don't really, I'm just too busy for that. And he was so insistent. Oh my god, he was so insistent. He asked like 3 times. And I hate when no isn't enough. Like, why can I say no and you don't accept that and you have to keep pushing? That's what pisses me off. Anyway, so eventually I gave him my phone number, but I told him, I was like, I am probably never gonna text you. Like, I'm never gonna respond. I feel like that was a good enough. I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to think of what a taco looks like. It's obviously like a half. Also, while we're at it, 10, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the sub. What color would you like? Both of these colors are also an option, if you would prefer either of these. And I am very good, Wolf. How are you? You like purple? Okay, these 3 right here are purple. You want like the actual purple? Oh, there's also this purple here. Although that looks more blue. So we can go with these 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, the actual purple. Okay, that's fine, baby. Sweet. I got you. And, what color tab would you like? But yeah, anyway, so I shared my phone number with him, regrettably, whatever. But I thought that was just strange because, like, I don't know this man. But okay, whatever, that's fine. What does your taco look like? Taco. Guess I get a little idea. Oh, okay, yeah, taco could be like a half shell like that. Okay. The sea green looking one? This one? Like the lighter green? Yeah, sometimes you do have to just be blunt. I feel like I have been blunt. Also, hi Muna! Welcome. Second one left to right. Okay, so this dark green one? Wait, what? Second left to, yeah, so this one? Yeah, okay, perfect. I got you. Here's your taco. Thank you for the gifted sub, IDK. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hey, let's go write ourselves some names in my book. Stuck in my head. Is there a loaf bread? I don't know. I'm not certain. Oh, God Hunter, you did use a transform. You're right. Hold on. Let me see what that is. Let's see what we're getting. A 3. Okay, that's Cinder Moyet again. It's fine. She's cool. She's got flame ears. I'm literally doing it right now. I'm sorry. I just didn't notice it. Yay! Okay, dokie. Straight fire. Thank you both so much for the subs. Thank you, Wolf and 10. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much. Let's get your tabs on. Random songs floating in my head all the time. I never know what any of them do or any of them mean or where they're from. Hey, and I got you little 2 tabs there. Thank you both. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ciao. Kachiga, kachiga. Why do I have the freaking piano cat in my head now? Oh, God, so weird. I finally got around to tidying up the IRL brick band thing for you. Oh, yay, Muna, thank you. I'm excited to use it Thursday. You'd never be mad at me. Thank you. I haven't figured out how people whistle. I can whistle blowing out and inhaling, like breathing in. So I can do like a really long, just loop whistle. So I have no idea. I can't explain it to you. Thank you, and yay, I'm glad you both like it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're in here forever now. Commemorated. Can't tell ladies sing that song, do-da, do-da. Sound like an angry kettle. Make a U with your tongue, and then push your lips out and blow air. Wow, God Hunter's got a whole tutorial for you. Hi, Guy, welcome in. Yeah, a loop whistle. Sometimes it takes a minute to pop it in. Anyways, you get the idea? Breathing in, Blowing out, breathing in, blowing out. And I do have hands. Gasp, who would have ever known? Who would have ever known? Isn't that crazy? Sea dog has human hands, what the fuck? Immersion broken. First time you ever seen someone do the like a loop whistle? There's a mouse. Where? Where? Where's a mouse? Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna have to start getting a paperweight for the other side. I completely forgot. What would I even use? Bleh. Sniff. What would I use? I have no idea. I've just been using my fingers, which is fine. I mean, you know, kind of adds to a reason there's a hand cam, right? It was on the screen? There's a mouse on screen? Oh my god. Crazy. But I think we should be... Hi, Kota. Welcome. How are you? I think we should be pretty good to start reading. It's been 25 minutes. We've done our writing. Kind of let some people come in. Are we ready to get started? Hi, Fortman. Hi, welcome. How are you tonight? Love our 20-minute intro, yeah. It takes a while for us to get started, for sure. Alright. Good, I'm very good today. Today was a lovely, lovely day. Today was a wonderful dial. Oh my god, it was so good. And I think tomorrow's gonna be amazing too, which is really exciting for me. I'm very happy to have good days. Thank you very much for asking. Oh my god, no, when I have hour-long intros, it confuses me how they reach an hour, but like I understand how they reach an hour because I'm literally here. But like, ugh. Fortman, I think you have to put an amount that you want to gamble? Question mark. Share some of that optimism for the chat. You're all gonna have great days tomorrow, you hear me? Wonderful, wonderful days. Wonderful, amazing, perfect, beautiful days tomorrow, okay? Yes, yes, yes. Good days tomorrow. Mwah. I share my blessings. God Hunter, we are on the last 2 chapters. The book actually ends in like soon. It ends in this many pages. We're finishing the book tonight. We're at the end. We're at the end. Oh, tomorrow's gonna be good for you? Let's go, IDK. Hell yeah. Okay, alright. You guys are not gonna distract me anymore. I'm gonna get reading, okay? We're gonna do it. I don't know why your gambling isn't working though. That's the weird part. Right? Because my gamble's winning. Or it's not winning, it's going. And you're typing the command correctly. Then what's the rest of the paper? It is another book. This is an omnibus, which I don't know if an omnibus is the correct word. That's the word that I know to go off of. But it's 2 books in one. Ugh, flip. So it's also got The Valley of Fear in it. Oh, did I type? I did. So, oh, IDK. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for the next gifted sub. I appreciate it. It is read time. But this is the next book. I don't know if it's the next book that we're going to end up reading. I have to look at my reading guide. But it's a second book within this binding. So. Just this much to go. Almost there. To read. Yeah, to read time, exactly. You read it. What do you mean you wrote it too small? How do you write it different sizes? I'm not looking at my like actual Twitch chat on Twitch. I'm looking at it on OBS. So maybe there's something you're doing that I don't recognize. Either way, let's get to it. We're gonna finish this book. I think you can do any amount you want, actually, Foreman. As far as I'm aware. Okay. Chapter 14. The Hound of the Baskervilles. One of Sherlock Holmes' defects, if indeed one may call it a defect, was that he was exceedingly loath to communicate his full plans to any other person until the instant of their fulfillment. I need to put my book on. There we go. Partly, it came no doubt from his own masterful nature, which loved to dominate and surprise those who were around him. Partly also from his professional caution, which urged him to never take any chances. The result, however, was very trying for those who were acting as his agents and assistants. Not the disguise. I had often suffered under it, but never more so than during that long drive in the darkness. The great ordeal was in front of us. At last, we were about to make our final effort, and yet Holmes had said nothing, and I could only surmise what his course of action would be. My nerves thrilled with anticipation when at last the cold wind upon our faces and the dark void spaces on either side of the narrow road told me that we were back upon the moor once again. Every stride of the horses and every turn of the wheels was taking us nearer to our supreme adventure. I just finished reading Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. Oh, that's so cool. That's a lovely story. That's very good. Oh, also thank you for the head pats. Did they go off? You can edit the stream avatar now? Yes, you can. Oh, my in-ear popped out. Hold on. Go Power Rangers. Okay, hold on. In-ears, come back here, please. Unplugged itself from the cord, so it was just sitting in my ear. That was funny. Yeah, it's pretty good to follow God Hunter. It's not that hard at all, which is quite nice. Our conversation was hampered by the presence of the driver of the hired wagonette, so that we were forced to talk. Ham! Ham, why are you awake? Ham! Ham, why are you awake? Oh my word, hello though. Hi. Yeah, you're supposed to be asleep. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful vacation. And thank you so much for the resub. Thank you. I'm gonna put you in the book. Are you here enough to choose a color? If not, I know you usually like red, correct? You're normally a red kind of guy. Oh, you woke up? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You had too much energy to sleep well. Yeah. Well, I mean, also that kind of works out because you were watching the VOD, right? And now you're here, so you should be kind of getting your stream streak to keep going. That's the good news. I hope you're able to fall back asleep. 35, wow. Thank you very much again, Ham. That's a capital K in the middle of my word. What am I doing? What the heck? Not the capital K. Oy vey. Love you too, Ham. Happy to see you. I hope you have a lovely day tomorrow of more fun theme parking. Be careful and kind to your feet. I'm sure they are probably a little sore. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ham. Yeah. And also to answer Fartman's question, it's not raining here, but I think that I really enjoy the rainy background for reading streams. It's quite nice, honestly. And I think we started the book with this background and background noise, so I thought it'd be fun to finish it that way as well. A little tie into the start of it. I'm reading for fun. I wanted to read more books because I find myself to not have too much time to read lately. And I figured that this would be a really good way to sort of force myself to read literature. And it's definitely working. I'm having a wonderful time. I'm reading a bunch of books I've never read. Hi Lajo. And it's kind of like a two birds, one stone type of thing. I get to read more, but I also get to stream, so it's very lovely, very perfect. But this is on my own volition, and I'm having a wonderful time doing it, so. Alright, we are gonna pick back up at the word wagonette, okay? So that we were forced to talk of trivial matters when our nerves were tense with emotion and anticipation. It was a relief to me, after that unnatural restraint, when we at last passed Franklin's house and knew that we were drawing near to the hall and to the scene of action. We did not drive up to the door, but got down near the gate of the avenue. The wagonette was paid off and ordered to return to Coombe Tracy forthwith, while we started to walk to Merripit House. Thank you, God Honor. Thank you so much. It's very sweet of you. Are you armed, Lestrade? The little detective smiled. As long as I have my trousers, I have a hip pocket. And as long as I have my hip pocket, I have something in it. Good. My friend and I are also ready for emergencies. We are mighty close about this affair, Mr. Holmes. What's the game now? A waiting game. My word, it does not seem a very cheerful place, said the detective with a shiver, glancing around him at the gloomy slopes of the hill, and at the huge lake of fog which lay over the Grimpen Mire. I see the lights of a house ahead of us. I have readjusted my posture. Allow me to hydrate and then I shall stretch. Thank you very much for the health care package. Stretches. Lovely, lovely, lovely stretches. Thank you very much. Of course, thank you. I very much appreciate it. That is Merripit House and the end of our journey. I must request you to walk on tiptoe and not to talk above a whisper. Hey, 35-stream streak! Let's go! Thank you, Apok. We moved cautiously along the track as if we were bound for the house, but Holmes halted us when we were about 200 yards from it. This will do, said he. These rocks upon the right make an admirable screen. We are to wait here? Yes, we shall make our little ambush here. Get into this hollow, Lestrade. You have been inside the house, have you not, Watson? Can you tell the position of the rooms? What are those latticed windows at this end? I think they're the kitchen windows. And the one beyond, which shines so brightly? That is certainly the dining room. The blinds are up. You know the lie of the land best. Creep forward quietly and see what they're doing. But for heaven's sake, don't let them know that we're being watched. That they are being watched. I tiptoed down the path and stooped behind the low wall which surrounded the stunted orchard, which surrounded the stunted orchard. Creeping in its shadow, I reached a point whence I could look straight through the uncurtained window. There were only two men in the room, Sir Henry and Stapleton. They sat with their profiles towards me on either side of the round table. Both of them were smoking cigars, and coffee and wine were in front of them. Stapleton was talking with animation, but the baronet looked pale and distrait. Perhaps the thought of that lonely walk. Sorry. Sorry for... Someone type something. Get this onto his page. We gotta fix that. I've never done that. I'm so sorry. You have to fix it. Thank you. Thank you, God Hunter. Thank you. Oy vey. Stapleton was talking with animation, but the baronet looked pale and distrait. Perhaps the thought of that lonely walk across the ill-omened moor was weighing heavily upon his mind. As I watched them, Stapleton rose and left the room. Sir Henry filled his glass again and leaned back in his chair, puffing at his cigar. I heard the creak of a door and the crisp sound of boots upon gravel. Steps passed along the path on the other side of the wall under which I crouched. Looking over, I saw the naturalist pause at the door of an outhouse in the corner of the orchard. A key turned in a lock, and as he passed in, there was a curious scuffling noise from within. He was only a minute or so inside, and then I heard the key turn once more, and he passed me and re-entered the house. I saw him rejoin his guest, and I crept quietly back to where my companions were waiting to tell them what I had seen. This is very strange. I do wonder what's happening there. You say, Watson, that the lady is not there? Holmes asked, when I had finished my report. No. Where can she be then, since there is no light in any other room except the kitchen? I cannot think where she is. I have said that over the great Gribben Mire there hung a dense white fog. Thank you so much, Poach! Thank you, thank you, thank you! What color would you like? I appreciate the sub, the resub. That's so nice! Thank you so very much! Pick a color for me, please, and thank you. I'm gonna put you in my book. It do be like that. And the worst part is you have to pick twice. Pick this color first. There's a lot more options. And then after this you have to pick another color, but it's less. So, less overwhelming, hopefully. Good job, Agadu. You lived. Okay, actually, you can go right next to the line. That's freaking perfect. And your name's long, so it's actually really, really good for me. Yeah, IDK's probably pissed. Let's see if I can write it all. Can without the cardboard. then did you also want a red tab? IDK, I ooh-wooed. That's what happened. Okay, perfect. I will say IDK does tend to sometimes watch streams muted, so he might not have heard it. Which is good for him. Great. Thank you so much for the resub, Boat. Thank you so very much. Yay! Bruh, you told me that you don't enjoy ASMR. So you literally watch streams muted. You're just here to support. What? I know, I don't do, you know, crazy ASMR. I just read. I just speak. So that's the good news there. Okay, yay! Alright, perfect. I have said that over the Great Griffin Mire there hung a dense white fog. It was drifting slowly in our direction and banked itself up like a wall on that side of us. Low, but thick and well defined. I have a yawn. Oh no! Oh, you unmute now because you mod. Okay. Yeah, literally about exactly. Ugh. Anyways, someone do the yawn counter for me. Although, God Hunter, you probably did it falsely when you came in. So we probably have one to burn already. The moon shone on it, and it looked like a great shimmering ice field, with the heads of the distant tors as rocks borne upon its surface. Holmes's face was turned towards it, and he muttered impatiently as he watched its sluggish drift. It's moving towards us, Watson. Is that serious? Very serious indeed. The one thing upon earth which could have disarranged my plans. He can't be very long now. It's already 10 o'clock. Our success and even his life may depend upon his coming out before the fog is over the path. We do have probably three wrong ones, you're right. The night was clear and fine above us. The stars shone cold and bright, while a half-moon bathed the whole scene in a soft, uncertain light. Before us lay the dark bulk of the house, its serrated roof and bristling chimneys hard outlined against the silver-spangled sky. Broad bars of golden light from the lower windows stretched across the orchard. Oh my word, orchard! Stretched across the orchard and the moor. One of them was suddenly shut off. The servants had left the kitchen. There only remained the lamp in the dining room, where the two men, the murderous host and the unconscious guest, still chatted over their cigars. Every minute, that white woolly plain which covered one half of the moor was drifting closer and closer to the house. Already, the first thin wisps of it were curling across the golden square of the lighted window. The farther wall of the orchard was already invisible, and the trees were standing out of a swirl of white vapor. As we watched it, the fog wreaths came crawling around both corners of the house and rolled slowly into one dense bank, on which the upper floor and the roof floated like a strange ship upon a shadowy sea. Holmes struck his hand passionately upon the rock in front of us and stamped his feet in his impatience. Number 3, Hate Watcher. Yeah, probably. Hi, Gundon. Hi, how are you? Are you having a good evening today? If he isn't out in a quarter of an hour, the path will be covered. In half an hour, he won't be able to see our hands in front of us. Shall we move farther back upon higher ground? Yes, I think it would be as well. So, as the fog bank flowed onward, we fell back before it We fell back before it until we were half a mile from the house, and still that dense white sea, with the moon silvering its upper edge, swept slowly and inexorably. Okay, sure. Swept slowly and inexorably on. It's very lovely to see you again as well. I'm glad you're popping in. Hi. Going too far, said Holmes. We dare not take the chance of his being overtaken before he can reach us. At all costs, we must hold our ground where we are. He dropped on his knees and clapped his ear to the ground. Thank God, I think I can hear him coming. The sound of quick steps broke the silence of the moor. Crouching among the stones, we stared. Yeah, that's how you spell stared. Ugh. We stared intently at the silver-tipped bank in front of us. The steps grew louder, and through the fog, as though through a curtain, there stepped the man whom we were awaiting. He looked around him in surprise as he emerged into the clear, starlit night. Ew-whip! Ew-whip! And he came swiftly along the path, passed close to us where we lay, and went on up the long slope behind us. As he walked, he glanced continuously over either shoulder, like a man who is ill at ease. Thank you for the 100 bits. Hi. Hi, Hitmanic. I was gonna say hi to you after this paragraph anyways, but hi. Woof, woof, woof. Yes. Ow! Ow, ow! Hist, cried Holmes, and I heard the sharp click of a cocking pistol. Look out, it's coming. Oh, what? What's coming? What's coming? What's coming? Wait, what's coming? Wait. There was a thin, crisp, continuous patter from somewhere in the heart of that crawling bank. The cloud was within 50 yards of where we lay, and we glared at it, all three, uncertain what horror was about to break from the heart of it. I was at Holmes's elbow, and I glanced for an instant at his face. It was pale and exultant, his eyes shining brightly in the moonlight. But suddenly, they started forward in a rigid, fixed stare, and his lips parted in amazement. At the same instant, Lestrade gave a yell of terror and threw himself face downward upon the ground. I sprang to my feet, my inert hand grasping my pistol, my mind paralyzed by the dreadful shape which had sprung out upon us from the shadows of the fog. A hound it was, an enormous, coal-black hound, but not such a hound as mortal eyes have ever seen. Fire burst from its open mouth. What the fuck? Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. Its muzzle and hackles and dewlap were outlined in flickering flame. What the fuck? Never, in the delirious dream of a disordered brain, could anything more savage, more appalling, more hellish be conceived than that dark form and savage face which broke upon us out of the wall of fog. What the fuck? I'm so confused. What? I thought we're supposed to be real here. I thought Sherlock books are real. What is happening? With long bounds, the huge black creature was leaping down the track, following hard upon the footsteps of our friend. So paralyzed were we by the apparition that we allowed him to pass before we recovered our nerve. Then Holmes and I both fired together, and the creature gave a hideous howl, which showed that one at least had hit him. He did not pause, however, but bounded onward. Far away on the path we saw Sir Henry looking back, his face white in the moonlight, his hands raised in horror, glaring helplessly at the frightful thing which was hunting him down. Yeah! Holy shit. Wait, where are you guys here? Hold on. Hold on. Wait, where are you in here? Wait, are we past this? No, no, no. Where are you in here? Why do I have a paragraph break when I don't think there's a paragraph break in here? Hold on. What the wait, oh, wait, hold on. Patience. Out of the wall of fog. With, and then I have the word down. Down. Right here. That's so weird. In my digital copy, there's a paragraph. There's a paragraph break right here. That's weird. Why? Why would this copy not have that? Okay, anyways, okay, so 4. Okay, perfect. I got you. Let's resume. But that cry of pain from the Hound had blown all of our fears to the winds. If he was vulnerable, he was mortal, and if we could wound him, we could kill him. Never have I seen a man run as Holmes ran that night. I am reckoned, fleet of foot, but he outpaced me as much as I outpaced the little professional. In front of us, as we flew up the track, we heard scream after scream from Sir Henry, and the deep roar of the Hound. Is the Hound attacking him? Did he get to him? I was in time to see the beast spring upon the victim. No! Hurl him to the ground and worry at his throat. Holy shit! But the next instant, Holmes had emptied 5 barrels of his revolver into the creature's flank. With a last howl of agony and a vicious snap in the air, it rolled upon its back, 4 feet, pawing furiously, and then fell limp at its side. I stopped, panting, and pressed my pistol to the dreadful, shimmering head, but it was useless to press the trigger. The giant Hound was dead. What the fuck? What? Wait, okay, so Sir Henry did get bit, though, in the neck? And then Holmes killed it? Is it a real dog? Why does it have fire? What the what? Huh? What? Sir Henry lay insensible where he had fallen. We tore away his collar, and Holmes breathed a prayer of gratitude. Why is Twitch telling me? Is your review? What? Twitch, you okay? Twitch, we chilling? What do you mean 0 viewers? What do you? Okay, at least you're still going. 57 minutes. Are we? Did the stream die on me? Did the stream die? Did the stream die? Anybody? Are you here? Is anybody here? Wait, is anybody here? Hello? I need a response from anybody, please. You're all dead. Oh no, you're all gone. What the fuck happened? Oh my god. Yeah, what is happening? Wait, what's happening? Wait. Whoa. Fuck. Hold on. What's happening? What happened? Thank you for headpats, mop. What's happening? Twitch, load, please. Oh, shut up, Sky. Sky, I don't want to watch your stream. What the fuck is happening? Hello? Hello? Hold on. Oh, wait. Okay, so wait. Okay, so my chat is not working on OBS. Okay, hold on. I have you guys pulled up right now on Twitch itself on the website. My OBS chat is not working. I wonder if I close it and reopen it, will it update? Anyways, okay. Did stream actually die? It did. I see him at 20 seconds. Oh, that sucks. Oh, fuck you. That sucks. It crashed for like 1 second. That's so sad. That's funny. At least that still worked, I guess. There's that. The string couldn't handle the suspense. You're right. It couldn't. Are we okay? What the fuck is happening? Are we being chilling? Because over on my, let me see. I have a camera. Doop. You see here? Ignore my lotion and my water bottle. See right here? Let's see if we can zoom that in any. You see what's happening here? It says I'm not live. Do you see this? It says I'm not live right now. But clearly I see you guys. So I see that we are live, right? Exactly. None of you are here. So I think we're okay. I think we're fine. It's just being weird. It's acting like a VOD? Okay. So in my OBS it says I'm still live. And I feel like I have to be in order for you guys to be messaging. So strange. So strange indeed. What is happening? Blah, 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 blah. Wait, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. We do have to throw the whole website away for sure. Like, what the hell is happening? It's so weird. Everything's slowly restarting. You're right! My thing says 4 minutes now. And 14 viewers. Okay, it's updated. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Yahoo. Hi, Scarvanite. Welcome in. It's taking forever for the video to start? What? I do wonder what happened. That's so strange. For anybody that was following along, as far as I know, this is the last line I read. Is this the last line that you guys heard me read? That it's dead, whatever it is, said Holmes. We've laid the family ghost once and forever. That's the last line I read before I noticed anything happen. I just want to make sure that we are caught up and we didn't miss anything. Is that the last thing y'all heard, or do I need to go back a little bit? Two lines? Okay. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. Something did, though. Ah, thank you, Stream Elements. Yes, I am live. How'd you know? How weird. Yeah, I feel like it could have been a Twitch thing, which is so weird. What time is it? Was it at 1 o'clock exactly that it did that? It's done that before, hasn't it? Wait, it's done that before. We're at 1 a.m. exactly? My time? The stream will just die for a second. Because, like, Twitch does some sort of update that they push through. And that's so rude. It's so rude, because, like, what about all of us who are streaming? Now you fucked up our streams. Now it says we've streamed twice. Ah, so rude. Fuck you, Twitch. Yeah, I'm back finally. Yeah, ooh. So rude. Damn it. Yeah, everybody grab your angry fucking pitchfork. Let's go. 1 a.m., the twitching hour. Exactly. Ugh. Oh no. Oy vey. Okay. Oy. Alright, we all good? We ready to keep going? We should be working through that. Wait, this counts as another stream, doesn't it? You're right. Let's go. You reached your 35 stream streak. Let's go. No, don't call it a scary voice. It's my demon voice. Yeah, it seems that way, Hitmanic. Oy vey, oy vey. Okay. Are we good and ready? That's funny. Oof. Alrighty. Alright, we're gonna start right back here at this line, okay? Yeah, first was already gone. Yes. My god, he whispered. What was it? What in heaven's name was it? It's dead, whatever it is, said Holmes. We've laid the family ghost once and forever. In mere size and strength, it was a terrible creature which was lying stretched before us. It was not a pure bloodhound, and it was not a pure mastiff, but appeared to be a combination of the two. Gaunt, savage. Thank you for the headpats. Gaunt, savage, and as large as a small lioness. Even now, in the stillness of death, the huge jaws seemed to be dripping with a bluish flame, and the small, deep-set, cruel eyes were ringed with fire. I placed my hand upon the glowing muzzle, and as I held them up, my own fingers smoldered and gleamed in the darkness. Phosphorus, I said. A cunning preparation of it, said Holmes, sniffing at the dead animal. There is no smell which might have interfered with his power of scent. We owe you a deep apology, Sir Henry, for having exposed you to this fright. I was prepared for a hound, but not for such a creature as this, and the fog gave us little time to receive him. Good night, Mop. Thank you for being here. Have a lovely sleep, okay? Goodbye, toodaloo. We are back. Let's go. You saved my life, having first endangered it. Are you strong enough to stand? Give me another mouthful of that brandy, and I shall be ready for anything. So, now, if you'll help me up, what do you propose to do? To leave you here. You're not fit for further adventures tonight. If you will wait, one or other of us will go back with you to the hall. He tried to stagger to his feet, but he was still ghastly pale and trembling in every limb. Your fish isn't working, is it? Oh, I forget. When Twitch does this bullshit, it unlinks everything. It's actually annoying. Hold on. Forget that it causes that issue. Okay, your fish should work now if you would like to retry. He tried to stagger to his feet, but he was still ghastly pale and trembling in every limb. We helped him to a rock, where he sat shivering with his face buried in his hands. We must leave you now, said Holmes. The rest of our work must be done, and every moment is of importance. We have our case, and now we only want our man. It's 1,000 to 1 against our finding him at the house, he continued as we retraced our steps swiftly down this. Guacamole portagoni, oh my god. He continued as we retraced our steps swiftly down the path. Those shots must have told him that the game was up. We were some distance off, and this fog may have deadened them. He followed the hound to call him off. Of that you may be certain. No, he's gone by this time. We'll search the house and make sure. The front door was open, so we rushed in and hurried from room to room to the amazement of a doddering old manservant who met us in the passage. There was no light save in the dining room, but Holmes caught up the lamp and left no corner of the house unexplored. No sign could we see of the man whom we were chasing. On the upper floor, however, One of the bedroom doors was locked. Do not tell me this man didn't even run and leave. Stayed and locked himself in the house. Oh my god, he's a stupid murderer. Oy vey. There's someone in there, cried Lestrade. I can hear a movement. Open this door. A faint moaning and rustling came from within. Huh? Wait, did he try and kill himself or what? Holmes struck the door. Thank you for the head pats. Struck the door just over the lock with the flat of his foot and it flew open. Pistol in hand, we all three rushed into the room. But there was no sign within it of that desperate and defiant villain whom we expected to see. Instead, we were faced by an object so strange and so unexpected that we stood for a moment staring at it in amazement. The room had been fashioned into a small museum. The walls were lined by a number of glass-topped cases full of that collection of butterflies and moths, the formation of which had been the relaxation of this complex and dangerous man. Good job, IDK! Let's go! Congratulations! Yay! In the center of the room, there was an upright beam which had been placed at some period as a support for the old worm-eaten balk of timber which spanned the roof. To this post, To this post, a figure was tied. Thank you, IDK, very much for the gifted sub. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I'm sorry. I'm not super energetic. I'm so confused about what we're about to read. I think does he have someone kidnapped and tied to this pole? Is it what the fuck? Only mine crashed. What the fuck? Damn you, Twitch. Okay, hold on. To this post, a figure was tied, so swathed and muffled in the sheets which had been used to secure it, that one could not for the moment tell whether it was that of a man or a woman. What? Huh? What? One towel passed around the throat and was secured at the back of the pillar. Another covered the lower part of the face, and over it 2 dark eyes full of grief and shame, and a dreadful questioning, stared back at us. In a minute, we had torn off the gag, unswathed the bonds, and Miss Stapleton sank upon the floor in front of us. What the fuck? As her beautiful head fell upon her chest, I saw the clear red wheal of whiplash across her neck. What the fuck did he do to her? What? Huh? What? Hello? He tied up his wife, and did he whip her? What? Huh? What? Huh? I'm sorry. The brute, cried Holmes. Here, Lestrade, your brandy bottle. Put her in the chair. She has fainted from ill usage and exhaustion. She opened her eyes again. Is he safe, she asked. Has he escaped? He cannot escape us, madam. I didn't know this was smut. I would read smut if I could. Straight the fuck up. I would read smut. But I don't think this is smut. I hate to tell it to you. I would. I just have to find some that isn't copyrighted. So I think, is Pride and Prejudice smut? Because that's a book I can read. I don't know though. Is it? It's a wink wink nudge nudge. You hear me? You cannot escape us, madam. No, I do not mean my husband. Sir Henry, is he safe? Yes. And the hound? It is dead. She gave a long sigh of satisfaction. Thank God! Oh, this villain! See how he has treated me! She shot her arms out from her sleeves, and we saw with horror that they were all mottled with bruises. But this is nothing, nothing. It is my mind and soul that he has tortured and defiled. I could endure it all. Ill usage, solitude, a life of deception, everything, as long as I could still cling to the hope that I had his love. But now I know that in this, also I have been his dupe and his tool. She broke into passionate sobbing as she spoke. That's so sad. 50 Shades of Grey is copyrighted. I cannot read it. Otherwise I would. But I am afraid that I would get in trouble, so you gotta get me something that isn't copyrighted. I think it has to be 80 years old for it to be in public domain, something like that. We temporarily buy copyright, yeah. That'd be crazy. You bear him no goodwill, madam, said Holmes. Tell us then where we shall find him. If you have ever aided him in evil, help us now and so atone. There is but one place where he can have fled, she answered. There is an old tin mine on an island in the heart of the mire. It was there that he kept his hound, and there also he had made preparations so that he might have a refuge. That is where he would fly. The fog bank lay like white wool against the window. Holmes held the lamp towards it. See, said he, no one could find his way into the Grimpen mire tonight. She laughed and clapped her hands. Her eyes and teeth gleamed with a fierce merriment. He may find his way in, but never out, she cried. How can he see the guiding wands tonight? We planted them together, he and I, to mark the pathway through the mire. Oh, if I could only have plucked them out today, then indeed you would have had him at your mercy. Alright, God Hunter, see you in 20 minutes. Thank you for the look. It was evident to us that all pursuit was in vain until the fog had lifted. Meanwhile, we left Lestrade in possession of the house, while Holmes and I went back with the baronet to Baskerville Hall. The story of the Stapletons would no longer be withheld from him. He took the blow bravely when he learned the truth about the woman whom he had loved. Hello, Butter Dog. Welcome in. Thank you for your daily. But the shock of the night's adventures had shattered his nerves. And before... Convoy! Hello! Hi, Convoy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. IDK? Can I get some shoutouts for Convoy, please, and thank you so very much. How are you today? Yes, thank you. But the shock of the night's adventures had shattered his nerves, and before morning he lay delirious in a high fever, under the care of Dr. Mortimer. The two of them were destined to travel together round the world before Sir Henry had become once more the hale, hearty man that he had been before he became the master of that ill-omened estate. I'm doing very well. For anybody who doesn't know, Convoy also does ASMR. He's a little lighthouse cat, so cute. He also does gaming though, so if either of those are up your alley, like I would imagine they are if you're here on my channel, then you should definitely check him out. He's wonderful. Now, I come rapidly to the conclusion of this singular narrative, in which I have tried to make the reader share those dark fears and vague surmises which clouded our lives so long and ended in so tragic a manner. Of course, Convoy. Absolutely. On the morning after the death of the Hound, the fog had lifted and we were guided by Miss Stapleton to the point where they had found a pathway through the bog. It helped us to realize the horror of this woman's life when we saw the eagerness and joy with which she laid us on her husband's track. Yeah, can you imagine just being like, here, my husband's a murderer. This is how you can find him. We left her standing upon the thin peninsula of a firm, peaty soil, which tapered out into the widespread bog. From the end of it, a small wand, planted here and there, showed where the path zigzagged from tuft to tuft of rushes, among those green, scummed pits and foul quagmires which barred the way to the stranger. rank reeds and lush, slimy water plants sent an odor of decay and a heavy, miasmatic vapor onto our faces, while a false step plunged us more than once, thigh deep into the dark, quivering mire, which shook for yards in soft undulations around our feet. Hi, Mr. Manager, how are you? Thank you for coming in. That's true, IDK, you are a hate watcher. At least he doesn't poop too much. What the fuck are you on about? What Agadoo? What? Oy vey. Its tenacious grip plucked at our heels as we walked, and when we sank into it, it was one as if some malignant hand was tugging us down into those obscene depths. So grim and purposeful was the clutch in which it held us. Once only we saw a trace that someone had passed that perilous way before us. From amid a tuft of cotton grass, which bore it up out of the slime, some dark thing was projected. Holmes sank to his waist as he stepped from the path to seize it, and had we not been there to drag him out, he could never have set foot upon the firm land again. He held onto an old black boot into the air. Mayors, Toronto, was printed on the leather inside. The past shall stay in the past. Okay, yeah. It is worth a mud bath, said he. It is our friend Sir Henry's missing boot, thrown there by Stapleton in his flight. Exactly. He retained it in his hand after using it to set the hound upon the track. He fled when he knew the game was up, still clutching it, and he hurled it away at this point of his flight. We know at last that he came so far in safety, but more than that, we're never destined to know, though there was much which we might surmise. Okay, cool. There was no chance of finding footsteps in the mire, for the rising mud oozed swiftly in upon them. But as we at last reached firmer ground beyond the morass, we all looked eagerly for them, but no slightest sign of them ever met our eyes. If the earth told a true story, then Stapleton never reached that island of refuge towards which he struggled through the fog upon the last night. Somewhere in the heart. Wait, he like drowned? He drowned in the fucking... He drowned in the moor? He drowned in the moor? What the fuck? Ah! Oh. Stapleton never reached that island of refuge towards which he struggled through the fog upon that last night. Somewhere in the heart of the great Crippen mire, down in the foul slime of the huge morass which had sucked him in, this cold and cruel-hearted man is forever buried. Why do I want to say buried? Holy shit. He died trying to escape. Well, there we go, I guess. Many traces we found of him in the bog-girt island where he had hid his savage ally. A huge driving wheel and a shaft half filled with rubbish showed the position of an abandoned mine. Beside it were the crumbling remains of the cottages of the miners, driven away, no doubt, by the foul reek of the surrounding swamp. In one of these, a staple and chain with a quantity of gnawed bones showed where the animal had been confined. A skeleton, with a tangle of brown hair adhering to it, lay among the debris. A dog, said Holmes. By Jove, a curly-haired spaniel. Poor Mortimer will never see his pet again. Oh yeah, this dude was walking his dog. Oh, dang, that sucks. Well, I do not know that this place contains any secret which we have not already fathomed. He could hide his hound, but he could not hush its voice, and hence came those cries which even in daylight were not pleasant to hear. On an emergency, He could keep the Hound in the outhouse at Merripit, but it was always a risk, and it was only on the supreme day, which he regarded as the end of all of his efforts, that he dared to do it. His paste is the tin, and no doubt the luminous mixture with which the creature was daubed. It was suggested, of course, by the story of the family hellhound, by the desire to frighten old Sir Charles to death. No wonder the poor devil of a convict man ran and screamed, even as our friend did, and as we ourselves might have done, when he saw such a creature pounding through the darkness at the moor upon his track. It was a cunning device, for, apart from the chance of driving your victim to his death, what peasant would venture to inquire too closely into such a creature should he get sight of it, as many have done, upon the moor? I said it in London, Watson, and I say it again now, that never yet have we helped to hunt down a more dangerous man than he who is lying yonder. He swept his long arm towards the huge, mottled expanse of green, splotched bog, which stretched away until it merged into the russet slopes of the moor. Yay! Yay! One more chapter to go. We're almost done. Wow. Okay, well that was that. It was fake fire, I guess. Is that what I'm understanding? I think I'm understanding that it was fake fire. It was just a big ass dog. A big black dog. Hound. Sweet Ambience. Yeah, firewolf. Alright. Thank you, Agadu. Let's get to it. It's a metaphorical fire, of course. Right, duh. Chapter 15, A Retrospection. It was the end of November, and Holmes and I sat upon a raw and foggy night, on either side of a blazing fire in our sitting room in Baker Street. Since the tragic upshot of our visit to Devonshire, he had been engaged in 2 affairs of the utmost importance, in the first of which he had exposed the atrocious conduct of Colonel Upwood in connection with the famous card scandal of the Non-Pareil Club, while in the second he had defended the unfortunate Mimi? Yeah, what the fuck is Mimi? Okay, whatever. Montpensier from the charge of murder which hung over her in connection with the death of her stepdaughter, Millie Herrera, the young lady who, as it will be remembered, was found 6 months later alive and married in New York. My friend was in excellent spirits over the success which had attended a succession of difficult and important cases, so that I was able to induce him to discuss the details of the Baskerville mystery. Didn't we just have an ad? No, I guess not. Strange. Get a dog for gasoline. Yeah, for sure. I had waited patiently for the opportunity, for I was aware I have another yawn. Oh no. Wait. For I was aware that that he would never permit cases to overlap, and that his clear and logical mind would not be drawn from its present work to dwell upon memories of his past. Sir Henry and Dr. Mortimer were, however, in London, on their way to that long voyage which had been recommended for the restoration of his shattered nerves. They had called upon us that very afternoon, so that it was natural that the subject should come up for discussion. The whole course of events, said Holmes, from the point of view of the man who called himself Stapleton, was simple and direct, although to us, who had no means in the beginning of knowing the motives of his actions, and could only learn part of the facts, it all appeared exceedingly complex. I have had the advantage of 2 conversations with Mrs. Stapleton, and the case has now been so entirely cleared up that I am not aware that there is anything which has remained a secret to us. You will find a few notes upon the matter under the heading B in my indexed list of cases. Perhaps you would kindly give me a sketch of the course of events from memory. Certainly, though I cannot guarantee that I carry all the facts in my mind. Intense mental concentration has a curious way of blotting out what has passed. The barrister who has this case at his fingers' ends and is able to argue with an expert upon his own subject finds that a week or two of the courts will drive it all out of his head once more. So each of my cases displaces the last, and Malie Carrar has blurred my recollection of Baskerville Hall. Tomorrow, some other little problem may be submitted to my notice, which will in turn dispossess the fair French lady and the infamous Upwood. So far as the case of the Hound goes, however, I will give you the course of events as nearly as I can, and you will suggest anything which I may have forgotten. Okay, another yawn, what the fuck? Release your yawn with a big huff so you tend to wake people up. What do you mean? You go, oh, go like that? My inquiries show beyond all question the family portrait did not lie, that this fellow was indeed a Baskerville. He was a son of that Roger Baskerville, the younger brother of Sir Charles, who fled with a sinister reputation to South America, where he was said to have died unmarried. He did, as a matter of fact, marry, and had one child, this fellow, whose real name is the same as his father's. He married Beryl Garcia, one of the beauties of Costa Rica, and, having purloined a considerable sum of public money, changed his name to Vandeleur and fled to England, where he established a school in the east of Yorkshire. His reason for attempting this special line of business was that he had struck up an acquaintance with a consumptive tutor upon the voyage home, and that he had used his man ability to make the undertaking a success. Fraser, the tutor, died, however, and the school which had begun well sank from disrepute into infamy. The Vandeleurs found it convenient to change their name to Stapleton, and he brought the remains of his fortune, his schemes for the future, and his taste of entomology to the south of England. I learned at the British Museum that he was a recognized authority upon the subject, and that the name of Vandeleur had been permanently attached to a certain moth which he had in his Yorkshire days been the first to describe. Oh. You missed like 2 or 3 yawns, God Hunter. We now come to that portion of his life which has proved to be of such intense interest to us. The fellow had evidently made inquiry and found that only 2 lives intervened between him and a valuable estate. When he went to Devonshire, his plans were, I believe, exceedingly hazy, but that he meant mischief from the first is evident from the way in which he took his wife with him and the character of his sister. The idea of using her as a decoy was clearly already in his mind, though he may not have been certain how the details of his plot were to be arranged. He meant in the end to have the estate, and he was ready to use any tool or run any risk for that end. His first act was to establish himself as near to his ancestral home as he could, and his second was to cultivate a friendship with Sir Charles Baskerville and with the neighbors. 6-7 yawns, let's go! Hell yeah! The baronet himself told him about the family hound, and so prepared the way for his own death. Stapleton, as I will continue to call him, knew that the old man's heart was weak, and that a shock would kill him. So much he had learned from Dr. Mortimer. He had heard, also, that Sir Charles was superstitious, and had taken this grim legend very seriously. His ingenious mind instantly suggested a way in which the baronet could be done to death, and yet it would be hardly possible to bring home the guilt up to the real murderer. Hey, I didn't yawn. I didn't do it. Having conceived the idea, he proceeded to carry it out with considerable finesse. An ordinary schemer would have been content to work with a savage hound. The use of artificial means to make the creature diabolical was a flash of genius upon his part. The dog he bought in London from Ross and Mangles, the dealers in Fulham Road, was the strongest and most savage in their possession. He brought it down by the North Devon line. I think I need some water. Hold on 2 seconds. Blah. Oof. Okay. He brought it down by the North Devon line and walked a great distance over the moor so as to get it home without exciting any remarks. He had already, on his insect hunts, learned to penetrate the griffin mire, and so had found a safe hiding place for the creature. Here he kennelled it and waited his chance. But it was some time coming. The old gentleman could not be decoyed outside of his grounds at night. Several times, Stapleton lurked about with his hound. Why do I feel like there's still something in my throat? What is happening? Gee. Okay, I just let out a giant cough, hoping that'll help. Several times, Stapleton lurked about with his hound, but without avail. It was during these fruitless quests that he, or rather his ally, was seen by peasants, and that the legend of the demon dog received a new confirmation. He had hoped that his wife might lure Sir Charles to his ruin, but here she proved unexpectedly independent. She would not endeavor to entangle the old man. Thank you for the posture check. To entangle the old gentleman in a sentimental attachment which might deliver him over to his enemy. Threats, and even, I am sorry to say, blows refused to move her. She would have nothing to do with it, and for a time, Stapleton was at a deadlock. He found a way out of his difficulties through the chance that Sir Charles, who had conceived a friendship for him, made him the minister of his charity in the case of this unfortunate woman, Miss Laura Lyons. By representing himself as a single man, he acquired complete influence over her, and he gave her to understand that in the event of her obtaining a divorce from her husband, he would marry her. His plans were suddenly brought to a head by his knowledge that Sir Charles was about to leave the hall on the advice of Dr. Mortimer, with whose opinion he himself pretended to coincide. He must act at once, or his victim might get beyond his power. He therefore put pressure upon Miss Lyons to write a letter, imploring the old man to give her an interview on the evening before his departure for London. He then, by a specious argument, prevented her from going, and so had the chance for which he had waited. Driving back in the evening from Coombe Tracy, he was in time to get his hound, to treat it with his infernal paint, and to bring the beast round to the gate at which he had reason to expect that he would find the old gentleman waiting. The dog, incited by its master, sprang over the wicket gate and pursued the unfortunate baronet, who fled screaming down the yew alley. In that gloomy tunnel, it must indeed have been a dreadful sight to see the huge black creature, with its flaming jaws and blazing eyes, bounding after its victim. He fell dead at the end of the alley from heart disease and terror. The hound had kept upon the grassy border, while the baronet had run down the path, so that no track but the man's was visible. On seeing him lying still, the creature had probably approached to sniff at him, but finding him dead, had turned away again. It was then that it left the print, which was actually observed by Dr. Mortimer. The hound was called off and hurried away to its lair in the griffin mire, and a mystery was left which puzzled the authorities. alarmed the countryside, and finally brought the case within the scope of our own observation. It is a little aggressive, yes. So much for the death of Sir Charles Baskerville. You perceive the devilish cunning of it, for really it would be almost impossible to make a case against the real murderer. His only accomplice was one who could never give him away, and the grotesque, inconceivable nature of the device only served to make it more effective. Both of the women concerned in the case, Mrs. Stapleton and Mrs. Laura Lyons, were left with a strong suspicion against Stapleton. Mrs. Stapleton knew that he had designs upon the old man, and also of the existence of the Hound. Mrs. Lyons knew that neither of these things, but had been impressed by the death occurring at the time of an uncancelled appointment which was only known to him. However, both of them were under the influence, and he had nothing to fear from them. The first half of his task was successfully accomplished, but the more difficult still remained. It is possible that Stapleton did not know of the existence of an heir in Canada. In any case, he would soon learn it from his friend Dr. Mortimer. He was told, "Hi, Brennan, welcome in." And he was told by the latter all details about the arrival of Henry Baskerville. Stapleton's first idea was that this young stranger from Canada might possibly be done to death in London without coming down to Devonshire at all. He distrusted his wife ever since she had refused to help him in laying a trap for the old man, and he dared not leave her long out of his sight for fear he should lose his influence over her. It was for this reason that he took her to London with him. They lodged, I find, at the Mexborough Private Hotel in Craven Street, which was actually one of those called upon by my agent in search of evidence. Here he kept his wife imprisoned in her room, while he, disguised in a beard, followed Dr. Mortimer to Baker Street, and afterwards to the station and to the Northumberland Hotel. His wife had some inkling of his plans, but she had such a fear of her husband, a fear founded upon brutal ill-treatment, that she dare not write to warn the man whom she knew to be in danger. If the letter should fall into Stapleton's hands, her own life would not be safe. Eventually, as we know, she adopted the expedient of cutting out the words which would form the message, and addressing the letter in a disguised hand. It reached the baronet, and gave him the first warning of his danger. Wow, you're learning Russian? Let's go, Brennan, that's awesome. Thank you for the lurk. It was very essential for Stapleton to get some article of Sir Henry's attire, so that in case he was driven to use the dog, he might always have the means of setting him upon his track. With characteristic promptness and audacity, he set about this at once, and we cannot doubt that the boots or chambermaid of the hotel were well bribed to help him in his design. By chance, however, the first boot which was procured for him was a new one, and therefore useless for his purpose. He then had it returned and obtained another, a most instructive incident, since it proved conclusively to my mind that we were dealing with a real hound, as no other supposition could explain this anxiety to obtain an old boot and this indifference to a new one. And the more outré and grotesque an incident is, the more carefully it deserves to be examined. And the very point which appears to complicate a case is, when dully considered and scientifically handled, the one which is most likely to elucidate it. Then we had the visit from our friends next morning, shadowed always by Stapleton in the cab. From his knowledge of our rooms and of my appearance, as well as from his general conduct, I am inclined to think that Stapleton's career of crime has been by no means limited to this single Baskerville affair. It is suggestive that during the last 3 years there have been 4 considerable burglaries in the West Country, for none of which was any criminal ever arrested. The last of these, at Folkestone Court in May, was remarkable for the cold-blooded pistoling of the page, who surprised the masked and solitary burglar. I cannot doubt that Stapleton recruited his waning resources in this fashion, and that for years he has been a desperate and dangerous man. We had an example of his readiness of resource that morning, when he got away from us so successfully, and also of his audacity in sending back my own name to me through the cabman. From that moment he understood that I had taken over the case in London, and that therefore there was no chance for him there. He returned to Dartmoor and awaited the arrival of the baronet. "One moment," said I. "You have, no doubt, described the sequence of events correctly, but there is one point which you have left unexplained. What became of the Hound when its master was in London?" That's a good question. I have given some attention to this matter, and it is undoubtedly of importance. There can be no question that Stapleton had a confidant. It is unlikely that he ever placed himself in his power by sharing all of his plans with him. There was an old manservant at Merripit House, whose name was Anthony. His connection with the Stapletons can be traced for several years, as far back as the schoolmastering days, so that he must have been aware that his master and mistress were really husband and wife. This man had disappeared and had escaped from the country. It is suggestive that Anthony is not a common name in England, while Antonio is so in all Spanish or Spanish-American countries. The man, like Mrs. Stapleton herself, spoke good English, with a curious lisping accent. I have myself seen this old man cross the Grimpen Mire by the path which Stapleton had marked out. It is very probable, therefore, that in the absence of his master, it was he who cared for the Hound, though he may never have known the purpose for which the beast was used. The Stapletons then went down to Devonshire, whither they were soon followed by Sir Henry and you. One word now as to how I stood myself at that time. It may possibly recur to your memory that when I examined the paper upon which the printed words were fastened, I made a close inspection for the watermark. In doing so, I held it within a few inches of my eye and was conscious of a faint smell of the scent known as white jessamine. There are 75 perfumes, which it is very necessary that a criminal expert should be able to distinguish from each other, and cases have more than once, within my own experience, depended upon their prompt recognition. Not Sherlock out here knowing each individual perfume. That's freaking crazy. The scent suggested the presence of a lady, and already my thoughts began to turn towards the Stapletons. Thus I had made certain of the Hound, and had guessed at the criminal ever before we went to the West Country. It was my game to watch Stapleton. It was evident, however, that I could not do this if I were with you, since he would be keenly on his guard. I deceived everybody, therefore, yourself included, and I came down secretly when I was supposed to be in London. My hardships were not so great as you imagined, though such trifling details must never interfere with the investigation of a case. I stayed for the most part at Coombe Tracey, and only used the hut upon the moor when it was necessary to be near the scene of the action. Cartwright had come down with me, and in his disguise as a country boy, he was of great assistance to me. I was dependent upon him for food and clean linen. When I was watching Stapleton, Cartwright was frequently watching you, so that I was able to keep my hand upon all the strings. I have already told you that your reports reached me rapidly, being forwarded instantly from Baker Street to Coombe Tracey. They were of great service to me, and especially that one incidentally truthful piece of biography of Stapleton's. I was able to establish the identity of the man and the woman, and knew at last exactly how I stood. The case had been considerably complicated through the incident of the escaped convict and the relations between him and the Barrymores. This also you cleared up in a very effective way, though I had already come to the same conclusions from my own observations. By the time you discovered me upon the moor, I had a complete knowledge of the whole business, but I had not a case which could go to a jury. Even Stapleton's attempt upon Sir Henry that night, which ended in the death of the unfortunate convict, did not help us much in proving murder against our man. But his mom brought his mom took him perfume shopping as a kid and he's traumatized. Oh, poor Sherlock. There seemed to be no alternative but to catch him red-handed, and to do so, we had to use Sir Henry, alone and apparently unprotected, as a bait. We did so, and at the cost of a severe shock to our client, we succeeded in completing our case and driving Stapleton to his destruction. That Sir Henry should have been exposed to this is, I must confess, a reproach to my management of the case, for we had no means of foreseeing the terrible and paralyzing spectacle which the beast presented, nor, thank you for the head pats, Maddie, nor could we predict the fog which enabled him to burst upon us at such short notice. We succeeded in our object at a cost which both the specialists and Dr. Mortimer assure me will be a temporary one. A long journey may enable our friend to recover not only from his shattered nerves, but also from his wounded feelings. His love for the lady was deep and sincere, and to him the saddest part of all this black business was that he should have been deceived by her. It only remains welcome back. It only remains to indicate the part which she had played throughout. There can be no doubt that Stapleton exercised an influence over her, which may have been love, or may have been fear, or very possibly both, since they are by no means incompatible emotions. It was at least absolutely effective. At his command, she consented to pass as his sister, though he found the limits of his power over her when he endeavored to make her the direct accessory to murder. She was ready to warn Sir Henry so far as she could without implicating her husband, and again she tried to do so. Stapleton himself seemed to have been capable of jealousy, and when he saw the baronet paying court to the lady, even though it was part of his own plan, still he could not help interrupting with a passionate outburst which revealed the fiery soul which his self-contained manner so cleverly concealed. By encouraging the intimacy, he made it certain that Sir Henry would frequently come to Merripit House, and that he would sooner or later get the opportunity which he desired. On the day of the crisis, however, his wife turned suddenly against him. She had learned something of the death of the convict, and she knew that the Hound was being kept in the outhouse on the evening that Sir Henry was coming to dinner. She taxed her husband with his intended crime, and a furious scene followed, in which he showed her for the first time that she had a rival in his love. Her fidelity turned in an instant to bitter hatred, and he saw that she would betray him. He tied her up, therefore, and she might have no chance of warning Sir Henry, and he hoped, no doubt, that when the whole countryside put down the baronet's death to the curse of his family, as they certainly would do, he could win his wife back to accept an unaccomplished fact, and to keep silent upon which she knew. In this, I fancy that in any case, he made a miscalculation, and that if we had not been there, his doom would none the less have been sealed. A woman of Spanish blood does not condone such an injury so lightly. And now, my dear Watson, without referring to my notes, I cannot give you a more detailed account of this curious case. I do not know that anything essential has been left unexplained. Sherlock, that was fucking insane what you just did right there. You're fine. You're good. You're good, buddy. He could not hope to frighten Sir Henry to death, as he had done the old uncle with his bogey hound. The beast was savage and half-starved. If its appearance did not frighten its victim to death, at least it would paralyze the resistance which might be offered. No doubt, there only remains one difficulty. If Stapleton came into the succession, how could he explain the fact that he, the heir, had been living unannounced under another name so close to the property? How could he claim it without causing suspicion and inquiry? It is a formidable difficulty, and I fear that you ask too much when you expect me to solve it. The past and the present are within the field of my inquiry, but what a man may do in the future is a hard question to answer. Mrs. Stapleton had heard her husband discuss the problem on several occasions. There were 3 possible courses. He might claim the property from South America, establish his identity before the British authorities there, and so obtain the fortune without ever coming to England at all. Or he might adopt an elaborate disguise during the short time that he need be in London. Or again, he might furnish an accomplice with the proofs and papers, putting him as the heir and retaining a claim upon some proportion of his income. We cannot doubt, from what we know of him, that he would have found some way out of the difficulty. And now, my dear Watson, we have had some weeks of severe work, and for one evening I think we may turn our thoughts into more pleasant channels. Have a box for Les Huguenots? Have you heard the Dregs? Might I trouble you then to be ready in half an hour, and we can stop at Marcini's for a little dinner on the way? Hey, the end! We finished! Yay! Clap! Yes! Claps, claps, claps! Oh! Yawn and stretches. Yay! Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm happy to have you here. I'm glad we were all here for the end of it. Yay! Yay! What's out? I don't know what the next book we're reading is. I mean, I guess I could look it up. Yes. So we read A Study in Scarlet, we read The Sign of Four, and then here we are reading The Hound of the Baskervilles. So it says Sherlock Holmes books in chronological is Study in Scarlet, Adventures of Sherlock, then The Valley of Fear, then The Sign of the Four, then The Hound of the Baskervilles. What the fuck? Okay, wait, what is this? Okay, great. No, I'm reading it right. Well, no, I didn't read The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I don't know if I have that book. Do I have that one? Isn't that just like short stories that honestly Cherry has been reading, right? I think so, no? Hold on, Sherlock Holmes books. I have not heard of the Gutenberg Project. Oof, crack a minute, hold on. Oh, I do have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. What? Why did I think to read The Hound of Baskervilles third? What is happening? Oh, it is short stories. Okay, yes, it is short stories. Oh, it's 12. It's 12 short stories. Jesus. That's why. Okay. We can save those for last, I think. That's what we're doing. So we just read The Hound of Baskerville. So next would be the Valley of Fear, though. So we'll just keep going in the book. Sweet. Okay, cool. Good to know. Got that down. 75,000 free ebooks? Wait, that's awesome. I'll have to check that out. Hell yeah. Sweet. Thank you. Because I definitely need some, and that's what I use. I use ebooks. Yes. Okay, well, before we head out, I think all of our things were, yep. Thank you again, both Nightwolf VT and Tennyson 98 and Baked Ham 73. And I saw this boat in half, and I don't know 6 myself. Thank you all for the subs. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Of course, thank you for coming in. I hope you had a lovely evening and a great time. I'm sorry that Twitch made the stream die and halfway through. So we're gonna have 2 VODs. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. We deal with it. We ball, you know. Grumble. It's chillin'. We fine. We chill. Let's go find us someone to raid. Ooh, shall we raid? Ooh, shall we raid? Ooh, shall we raid? Thank you, APOC. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Thank you, ADK. I appreciate that. I'm following Evelyn. I don't think I necessarily remember who she is. There's also Birdie. Birdie's live. Oh, there's Muasaki. Arg. Where's Evelyn though? Okay. Oh no, not that. No, what, I have an ad for Muasaki. You were gonna recommend me, Evelyn? Okay, that's fine. I can do her then. That sounds good with me. Thanks, APOC. Let's do this. Following. I would do Joy again, but I did her last night, so want to share the love. Alrighty. Okay, everybody, this is our raid message. Have a lovely night. Thank you so much again, everybody, for popping in and coming and watching and being here for the end of the book. Let's go. I'll see you guys on Thursday for a gaming stream, okay? I gotta figure out if we're playing more. Oh, I have to figure out if we're playing more Persona or if we're doing something different. I'll look into it. I'll figure it out. But thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Apok. That's so sweet. Okay, good night. Bye bye. Good night. Toodaloo.